Once upon a time, on the shore of a vast sea that seemed to stretch endlessly, there was a small village whose people made their living by fishing. Among them lived a humble fisherman named Salem. He was a kind-hearted man who lived with his wife and young daughter in a modest wooden cottage. Salem owned nothing but an old fishing boat and a worn-out net. Every morning before sunrise, he would set out to sea, always saying, "Our livelihood is in God's hands, and what is meant for us will always find its way to us." Some days he returned with baskets full of fish, while on other days he caught only a few. Yet he never complained or envied anyone. One stormy night, fierce winds swept across the sea, destroying many boats, including Salem's. He felt sad because the boat was his only source of income, but he refused to lose hope. With the help of the villagers, he repaired his boat with his own hands and returned to the sea a few days later. One calm morning, the sea was unusually still, and the sky was as clear as a blue mirror. Salem cast his net into the water and waited patiently. When he pulled it back, it was empty. He tried again, and again, and a third time. On the fourth attempt, he noticed that the net had become incredibly heavy. He said to himself, "Perhaps this is the biggest fish I have ever caught." Using all his strength, he pulled the net aboard. To his surprise, there was only a single fish inside. It was unlike any fish he had ever seen. Its scales sparkled like pure gold. Its eyes were the color of the sea, and its graceful fins shimmered like silk. Suddenly the fish spoke in a gentle voice. "Kind fisherman, I know that you are poor, but I am no ordinary fish. I am the guardian of the sea. If you return me to the water, I will grant you one wish." Salem stood frozen in amazement. At first he thought he was dreaming. Then he smiled and replied, "I could never harm a creature that asked for mercy." Without asking for anything, he gently released the golden fish back into the sea. The fish disappeared beneath the waves, then returned to the surface and said, "You have proven that your heart is more precious than the gold that covers my body. For your kindness, I will reward you in a way you never expected." When Salem returned home, he found his wife and daughter staring in disbelief. Their tiny cottage had become a beautiful house. His old boat had been replaced by a strong new one. His fishing nets were brand new, and a small chest filled with gold coins stood in the corner. The family was overjoyed, but Salem said, "This wealth is a blessing. We must never let money change who we are." From that day on, he shared his catch with the poor, helped struggling fishermen repair their boats, and never turned away anyone in need. However, there was a wealthy man in the village named Jaber. He was known for his greed. When he heard the story of the golden fish, he became determined to find it himself. For many days he searched the sea until, at last, the golden fish appeared before him. He immediately shouted, "I want a palace made of gold, countless ships, and chests overflowing with jewels." The fish calmly asked, "And would that be enough?" Jaber replied, "No, I want to become the richest man in the entire world." Without saying another word, the golden fish vanished beneath the waves. When Jaber returned home, he found that everything he owned had disappeared. His grand house, his fortune, and all his treasures were gone. He had lost everything because of his endless greed. Meanwhile, Salem continued fishing every day, even though he had become comfortable and wealthy. He often said, "Work is an honor, and the greatest wealth is peace of mind." Years passed, and Salem's daughter grew into a kind young woman who followed her father's example by helping those in need. The story of the golden fish spread from village to village until children everywhere knew it by heart. The villagers would always say, Those who chase gold may lose everything, but those who chase kindness will always find happiness. One peaceful evening, Salim stood on the shore watching the waves. Suddenly he saw the golden fish leap gracefully out of the water, as if it had come to say goodbye. He smiled warmly, waved his hand, and walked home with a peaceful heart. At that moment, he understood that the greatest treasure in life is not gold or jewels, but kindness, gratitude, honest work, and a heart filled with compassion. The end.